So before we get into this review, I do want to put right out there on Front Street, I wanted this movie to be brilliant. I wanted this movie to slap on a lot of levels. I wanted this movie to be great. I loved Sumotherhood from Adam Deacon. I'm an Adam Deacon fan. This movie... My name is Kevin Hull and this is Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British home for all your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. We like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. That's where my heart lives, it's where it lies, and if it's British and independent, I'm all about that. And here we have Sumotherhood, the new movie from Adam Deacon. Now, I'm a fan of Adam Deacon. I've watched quite a few movies that he's been in. I loved Sumotherhood. I loved Kidulthood back in the day. So when I saw they were making Sumotherhood, I got really excited. I really liked the last film. I did. And I know that Adam Deacon's kind of been out of the game for a little while. I know he's sort of been, he's been doing things behind the scenes, but he's been out of it for a little minute, and I understand he has got some mental health issues, which is fantastic that he's bouncing back and getting back into the game, and I find that really exciting, because if somebody can overcome and push through and power through, I'm all for that. But yeah, we still have to talk about this movie in a fair manner, and so let's talk about some other.
Start from the beginning.
Yo, Bizzle, Klick, Klack, it's showtime.
Is it some type of prank or something?
This ain't no prank, rude boy. This is Crime Watch UK live and direct in your face. Klick, Klack.
Hey, Sprinkle.
If you wanted to play with a big, hard toy, then you should have just asked.
You know, man was just joking, innit?
Shut up, you dickhead. Leave it, yeah?
Seriously, I can explain.
When I run into your home.
Allow it, painting Alexa. Stop the music, fam.
Sorry, fam. Klick, Klack.
Barry got the weapon.
Pussy, I was trying to rub this.
We're a laughing stock, man. I'm out here looking for redemption, bruv. Are you on it or not?
Yeah, I'm on it, cuz.
You all know the format, it's not going to change. It might be a little bit shorter for this video, but it's not going to change. I like to talk about the plot of the movie. I then like to talk about the cast and crew of the movie. I then like to get into what I did and didn't like about the movie. That'll be an interesting section. And then I like to give my Nerdly Out Loud rating. That is just my rating, not the rating of Nerdly as a whole. Although you can take it to the bank because I'm like the best guy there and everybody loves me. And you always put my quote on your box. I would love you to put my quote on this box. I don't know what it would be though. We'll soon find out. So before I get into the plot of the movie, I would just like to quickly read out to you what the IMDb synopsis says, because it's a read. It is a read. It says, this British comedy sees two hapless friends run into trouble after an attempted bank robbery goes wrong. Although there are lots of content issues, the film is overall light in tone. Now, I know that people can just add whatever the hell they want to IMDb, like trivia sections, things like that. Anybody can go on and do it. And I wonder if that last little bit of that sentence was written by someone who, wasn't part of the film. Because why on earth would you write that in the synopsis? Why is that in there? But we'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, so Sumotherhood is about Rico and Kane. These are our two main characters. They fall into a little bit of debt with their Polish landlords. They owe them 15k. So they need to go out and find a way to make that money. What's the best way to make that kind of money? Well, you just rob a bank. They go to rob a bank, but as is always the way with these British comedies and Adam Deacon movies, there is a little bit of shenanigans when they are at the bank. It goes a little bit wrong, and Rico accidentally kills Leo DeMarco. Leo DeMarco being a big gangster in the town, or the brother of a big gangster in the town, so there's going to be repercussions for that. At the same time, because they've now killed this big gangster, one of the other gangsters in the town, the local gangsters, called Shotty, he needs to get him on board because he's a man. These guys are killers, let's get them in the crew, let's get some shit done. So Shotty recruits Kane and Rico. Leo DeMarco's brother, Tyrese, then decides that he needs to kill Rico and Kane because he is mental. Talk about him in a minute. We get a whole bunch of cameos, a whole bunch of shenanigans. It basically becomes a series of random sketches put together to make what is considered to be a consistent movie. And it's full of hijinks, full of laughs, full of cameos, as I said. We'll talk about them in a second. And it's pretty much what you might expect from a low-budget, independent British comedy that wants to be Friday so hard that it has the Friday poster on the wall in the bedroom near the start of the movie. Now, that's not to say it's not a good movie, because some of the stuff in here is very funny. So what we're going to do is we'll talk about our cast and crew. Starting with Rico and Kane. Rico, of course, played by Adam Deacon, playing pretty much the role that Adam Deacon's born to play. He always kind of plays this sort of role, but he brings something different to it every time. And I do like what Adam Deacon does, but let's be honest, Adam Deacon plays Adam Deacon. It probably isn't him in real life, I know that, but this is kind of the gimmick we put up on screen, and that's what we get from him. Again, really like the character. It's an extension of another who I can't quite remember if he's playing the same character. I don't think he is. I think this is a whole different set of characters, but he plays it well and it's good, so we can't really complain about Adam Deacon. He gives himself some fantastic lines and he can deliver rapid fire talk like nobody. Kane, played by Jazzie Zonzolo, is actually really bloody good. He takes all the funny stuff, he gets all the best lines. They are vibing off each other really well. But whenever Kane kind of like steps out of himself and gets a little bit nuts, he really gets nuts. And I rated the hell out of that. He's really committing to the role, he's really giving it his all, and that's what you need from these two characters. And when we talk about our bad guys, our hoodies, our gangsters, we have got Tyrese, played by Richie Campbell. Now he was in Another Hood, plays kind of a similar character, almost the same exact character. It could be the exact same character. I didn't bother going and checking it out, I probably should have. But he was great in that movie. He was a scene-stealing son of a bitch in that movie. And in this movie, he's a scene-stealer again. Does he over-egg it? Does he go a little bit too far? Yes, but 100% that's what he's supposed to be doing. He is supposed to commit to this character, the ludicrous nature of who he is, and he goes for it so hard. Which he would love me saying that, because it sounds like something he would probably say. But again, Richie Campbell, I just love this actor. He's just mad. And he does all the nuts stuff in all the best ways. Somebody that did take me a little bit by surprise is Kobna Holbrook Smith. Now, I will be completely honest. I don't think I've seen him in anything else. Maybe I have seen him, I'm not entirely sure. I can't really be bothered going and having a look to see if I have. But in this movie, as Shotty, he's so good. He is the strong, silent gangster who just wants to get shit done, get people out there, get people killed. Kane and Rico, he doesn't want to suffer them, but he quite likes the fact that they're a couple of idiots, so he wants them on board. Yeah, I really, really rated this actor. I thought he was brilliant as Shotty, and actually brought a whole nother sort of grounded, real level to this role, to this movie. To be honest, from there, you're kind of just getting into random cameos. So let's drop a couple of people who are in this movie, because the list is pretty mad. And, you know, it's some of these people I haven't seen for a while do anything. So I was super happy to see these guys. So you've got Jennifer Saunders turns up for a scene. Yes, we love Jennifer Saunders. She's an absolute British treasure. Peter Serafinowicz turns up as a bit of a Russian gangster, gets one scene, doesn't turn up again. Didn't really understand why you have him in to set up this whole little thing, but then we don't get to see him. He just sends his goons later on. But it's Peter Serafinowicz, so when we have him on screen, we know he's there. This one took me a little bit by surprise, although I did see him in the trailer. Mr. Ginger Man himself, Ed Sheeran, plays Crack Ed. I see what you did there. He plays a crackhead down on his luck. It's very different from what we know of Ed Sheeran, but I'll be completely honest with you. He wasn't fantastic. Like, he delivers the lines well, he commits to the part, but even though he's supposed to be some sort of janky crackhead, I just couldn't buy it. It's Ed frickin' Sheeran. Really, really rate the fact that he did this. Really rate that he jumped on board for a low-budget independent movie. Rate all of that. I just don't really need to see him in anything else anytime soon. Our girl Jaime Winstone gets a small cameo at the start of the movie. I love Jaime Winstone, so I will always mention her. EastEnders legend Tamsin Outhwaite pops up as a ambulance driver, and we also get Denise Van Outen popping up as a nurse who gets to flip off the bird to Tyrese. And of course, everyone's favourite geriatric political prick, Jeremy Corbyn. Who, to be completely honest, I'm not a Jeremy Corbyn fan. I never was. Like, that's not to say that I'm a Tory boy. I just didn't really like Jeremy Corbyn. He kind of gets one of the best lines of the movie and probably got the biggest laugh from me. So yeah, Jeremy Corbyn, why not? There is one character that I have left out so far, and I do want to talk about him. Vaz Blackwood plays a racist cop who doesn't like black people. I'm a big fan of Vaz Blackwood. I've always had an eye on this guy throughout his career. You know, like back in the days of Lock, Stock as Rory Breaker, I think he's just fantastic. And I didn't really think much of this role for him. I was a little bit taken aback at how bad it was. Like, necessarily find him funny, and that's a character that on paper really does sound quite funny to me, and sounds like it could be an interesting role, but I don't know, wasn't feeling it. Maybe I just wanted some Rory Breaker, but genuinely, I wasn't a fan of this character at all. But, you know, Vaz did what he could with the role. Vaz was good in the role. I just didn't like the character, and that's on me. That's on me. He still gave it his all, and I rate that. So, okay, it's pretty clear that I wasn't in love with this movie. It wasn't the movie I was hoping for. I really wanted it to be something better. I wanted it to be a really, really fun time to watch. But a lot of it, I was just a little bit nervous. I was a little bit awkward. Kind of felt like I wasn't supposed to be part of the joke. It kind of felt like I wasn't supposed to be part of the movie. And that's a strange one, because yes, okay, I don't live in London, I don't live that life, I don't really know anything about that life, but what I do know is the movies that I really enjoy and the culture that I really like to see up on the screen and portrayed. And I like to see these movies, whether it's Kidulthood, where you're getting a serious drama out of it, or Shank, or 4321, or, you know, another Hood, some other Hood, you know, like, it doesn't matter what the genre is. I enjoy seeing this sort of community up on the screen, not necessarily to laugh at them, but to laugh with them, and to have fun at the situation and have fun at what they are doing with the film. But this film, every now and then, just seems to take a bit of a serious turn, which I'm usually all for, but it made me feel awkward. It didn't take a serious turn in effort to accentuate the humour in any kind of way. It took a serious turn as in, you know that scene in Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking juice in the hood, when they drop a bit of knowledge and then the postie comes in and he goes, "Message!" because they're trying to like tell you something, but they're doing it in a funny way, and it's like, let's point out the fact that we're doing this. This movie kind of does that in a few places, but it didn't really fit what was happening at the time, and made me just kind of go, oh, okay, is that what you were doing? What I did like, though, I think Tyrese was absolutely fantastic. Richie Campbell as Tyrese was fantastic. Again, Kobna Holbrook-Smith was fantastic. You know, these two guys played really great roles, played them really well, and I was happy to see it. I'm always happy to see Adam Deacon up on the screen, but every now and then he just kind of brings the movie to a place that I'm sitting there thinking, that's not where we were. That's not what the trajectory was. I don't mind you stopping the movie in its tracks to give me some act right or to tell me something, but dude, like just say it and then let's go. You know, let's do this. Loved some of the cameos. Would have loved to have seen a little bit more from some of them, like Peter Serafinowicz. I think if you've got him in your movie, like, let's use him a little bit more. Jeremy Corbyn was brilliant in his little cameo. Ed Sheeran, again, I don't necessarily need to see much more of him. Loved the soundtrack, though, although it is a bit disjointed here and there. Like, 1 minute it's like nice and somber, and then it just hits into high gear, and that's all good. So it's an absolute mixed bag, but what I can say is it's made very well. It's made very, very well. Edited excellently. There's a lot of those things that we always kind of expect from these movies that we see in there, and it just looks slicker and slicker and slicker every time we see it. So, you know, props to that. I guess I just wasn't really in the mood to be let down by this movie. And that's not to say I was 100% let down, because I do think if I watch the movie again, and then I talk to some of my pals about the movie, and we talk it over, and we discuss some of the scenes, I'm sure I will see this in a completely different light. But I'll completely honest. Right now, I've got to go for a 3. It has to be a 3, and a lot of that 3 is down to the fact that it's Adam Deacon back doing what he loves and back doing what I love to see him do, and he can write good dialogue. It's just sometimes, really? And come on, Jaime Winstone, man. Use Jaime Winstone. I love Jaime Winstone. And also, while we're on things that I love, a part of that 3, probably 1 point out of that 3, goes to Jean-Paul Lee. Dude's in there. We had a big fight in the middle of a nightclub, which was totally random. They try to like inject some love story like 3/4 of the way into the movie, and then Rico and Kane end up having to have a fight with some triads. And yeah, one of them is John Paul Lee. And as you all know, I've talked about John Paul Lee before. Big fan of this man's work, either as an actor in the front or as a stunt guy in the back. It's always good to see Jean Paul Lee's face, whether he's right in there or he's at the back doing his thing. Big fan, and you need someone like that when you're doing your action sequences like that one. So yeah, it was cool to see him. I really loved that. That's probably 1 point out of the 3. So I'm gonna go, because I really don't like being negative about films that I feel people should see. People should absolutely see this movie. They should check it out. If you're a fan of Sumotherhood or other films of that sort of ilk, then yeah, absolutely check it out. You may enjoy it more than I did. I think I was just a little bit disappointed because I wanted a little bit more. Adam Deacon, 100%. I'll be checking out the next project. I'll be checking out everything you do. I always will. But I feel like this one in particular, Sumotherhood, it's a misfire for me. It is a misfire. It's a 3 out of 5.